Nika, your coverage always comes with...
All right, Side Nation. Can you guys hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Somebody was saying, I think Weston Winrow, you were saying you couldn't hear me. Somebody hit me up in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me. Want to make sure the mic is working. Don't want to do live charting and you guys hear nothing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Hello. 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 Ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Thanks, Numair. I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. All right, folks. There's about 10 people in here, so you all will get the benefit. The rest, well, you snooze, you lose. Thank you again. Congratulations for hitting that like. I knew you guys can do it. All right, let's just kind of go over the charts real quick. Nothing too crazy. We're not really gonna change much on it because the way I chart, not much changes from a daily to daily besides the daily itself and maybe the EMA lines, right? Weeklies and monthlies will stay the same. So we're looking at SPY right now, so you can see the monthlies and weeklies. We're not touching those because we are still in the same week. The only thing we'll add is we are going to add this gap here. Gap 453.52 to 455.49. Another gap downside. I think we actually touched on it a little bit. We'll have to look in detail. I think we broke it into just a smidge, or maybe we missed it by a little bit. All right. So, okay, look, SPY. Let's just kind of remove everything so we can kind of see. Look, this was a 2-down day. So we had a 2-down day. And the reason why is because we broke the low of yesterday. So we had a 3-1-2, and then we had a 2-down continuation. In fact, today was quite the circus show, right? We came down and went up, and then we reversed up, and then reversed completely back down. Not surprised, honestly. Really not. All right. We did have a gap in the morning. We filled some of it. The intraday gap, if we go down to a smaller time frame. So you're literally just going to watch me chart for this session, right? So we did not touch the gap. We missed the gap just by a little bit. All right, I apologize. Let me just say, hey, what's going on Swoller on Divine Night? Your name sounds like something from Magic the Gathering. Hey, Colton. Hey, Winston. Hey, Namir. And if you're in here, I can't see you unless you type something out. So I apologize if I don't say hi. All right, let's see the daily high. Right, we want our daily high. Let's get our 50%. So we know, because the 50% is going to be pivotal, right? 50% tells us where price is going to be, bullish or bearish, depending on if we're above or below that, right? So that's 08. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So we have our new highs and new lows, and for the daily, we have our 50% mark. Thing to note today is that we did close below the 34 EMA, which is a good sign for the bulls or bears. Apologize. 34 EMA daily. Where's 21? 21's right here. And 34 is right about here. What's going on, Josh? What is this? 8/9 EMA daily. All right, cool. We have our levels marked off. We have our gaps marked off on the top side and bottom side. Let's drill down into a smaller time frame to see if we still. So this gap. Well, yeah, this gap. This was a gap earlier in pre-market. We filled it, so that's no longer there. All right, let's go back to the daily. So yes, I know if you are looking at my charts, if you're new, Seems very congested, right? A lot of information, but here's the reality. You don't need all this on your charts if you're able to see it, or if you have some kind of indicator that tells you the highs, lows, previous day high, lows, close, open, and the same thing with the weeks and the months, right? There's a lot of indicators now that kind of does this for you. I'm very old school and I like to mark it off. That way I can see it as opposed to have some kind of indicator just show me it. Sometimes it gets lost in translation, in my opinion. But that's how I do it. You are free to do what best suits you. But as you all can see by now, these lines, these levels all have relevance, right? It all helps us prepare for when we reach this zone. Okay, so daily was 2 down day, but we obviously closed above yesterday's low. Closed right below the 34 EMA. You can see that here. I'll get back to that in a minute. We have our charts marked off already. I'm going to go back down to this. So weekly, we're getting close to the clouds, right? Not much more room, right? 444.394, whatever you want to call it, give or take, 10 or 15 cents. But we are very close, right? The overextension on the weekly is pretty much closed up, right? So at this point, we could continue down. And the reason I'm showing this is important, right? Now we have the weekly 34, 8 and 9 EMA right about here. So, which is, you can see 4440.46. So once we get to that tomorrow, don't be surprised if we find some kind of resistance first before we make a move either up or down, right? So that is something to keep a note of. It's 2 down week. We made the 2 down week yesterday. The monthly still inside month, right? Still inside July's bar, right? We still have quite a while to go, right? 437.06 is the low, 459.44 is the high. To be honest with you all, it really depends on where we're at. I'm just gonna draw this out real quick. We did finally get back below the 50% for the month. So if we can hold this out, today's the 9th of August. So we got two more full trading weeks. And then we have 4 more days in last week August. So we actually have three full trading weeks, like 15 days left for this to make a down month. It is possible. I would say that by then next week, the SPY's got to be around 440 to 442. If it's not, then the chances of closing below it is going to be, or making a down month is less and less and less. But as long as we stay below the 50% of the month, we have a good chance to take out the low of July. If we don't, not a problem. I actually rather have it contain and be an inside month so that we can play September and probably take it down to a down month. So in my opinion is if August stays inside and we don't see real significant movement and we don't break above the 50%, I would be very, very likely to take a swing into end of September, maybe even middle of October for a down month to about 430 for SPY. That's just kind of looking at long term if you are one that wants to swing. But let's just kind of look at that. So, right, we already said the month is still overextended. The week is not, pretty much closed up. We're going to go back to the daily now. So we got everything back. What's still on the weekly. Now we're back on the daily. Okay. So here's the funny part, right? Look, I don't know if you guys can see this on your screen, but look where the wick or the top of the candle went today, right? Hit the 21 EMA pretty much, and then rejected. So that's why it matters, right? That's why the clouds work. That's why the lines matter. I used to mark off all these before, but they got very cluttered for a lot of you, so I took them off. But I am starting to put it back in. As you can see, it does have relevance to it, and I don't know why that switched. It's a little bit odd. Could have swore when we did this just live like 10 minutes ago, the lines were there. Kind of makes me wonder if I'm looking at it incorrectly. Okay. Anyway, look, 2 down day today. The big key thing I kept pointing out was that we closed below the 34 EMA. What I'm actually expecting, every time we, if you use a cloud system, every time we close in certain areas of the cloud, depending where, if we're like above it, we're probably attempt to try touch it and then go further down. If we're below it, what and then you see a pullback, what's most likely to happen is we're going to probably pull back up, test it, because what was once support now becomes resistance, right? So if 34 is a key EMA line along with the 21 and 8 9, and a lot of you guys like to use the 50 and then the 200, right? So for me, in my opinion, futures may have already made this move up, right? Test the 34. If it tests this and it does not break into it, what I'd be expecting tomorrow then is a continuation down to take out the daily low, 444.96, and then possibly into the gap, right? Maybe close this gap, or if there's enough orders in this gap, we're most likely going to, get rejected and come back up. Other thing to note is, like, if you look, right, these white trend lines out here, these are those upward trend lines I've been drawing for that big rising wedge, right? I scroll out and then you can see it. So there you go, right? We drew a couple lines just because, we want to have our mind open and have multiple views, right? This is how we were able to keep the swing, because we broke this one trend line for the rising wedge portion of it, and now we have the other one, right? So right here, right? Tomorrow, possibly, look, that's what we have to keep in mind. Like, a lot of people are just going to ignore this fact, right? We have this downward trend line we pretty much tapped today. Didn't even realize until now. The question is, do we break it, right? We have the trend line, we have the gap. So we have a couple of things that are going to be there to provide some kind of support for the bulls, and some kind of wall. I don't want to say resistance because people might get confused, but a wall for the bears to continue pushing through. So that is something to look at, right? That's what we have to keep in mind. That's how I look at it. Again, if we do break through this, don't expect it to just slice down. Keep in mind, we do have econ data tomorrow. I believe it's PCE or one of those, right? I'll look at it tonight and tell you which one we have. You know what? In fact, let me see if I can find it real quick. Right. Let's see. Tomorrow's Thursday. Core inflation. Okay, core inflation 8:30 CPI, and then we have jobless. We got another thing at 10:30, 11:30, 12. Damn, tomorrow is just stacked. You see this, people? Just be conscious of tomorrow is just going to be very interesting. Very interesting tomorrow. So we got a lot of data tomorrow. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at tomorrow. Honestly, unless futures tonight, which opens up in about 12 minutes, unless futures tonight just make some kind of movement up, unless futures decides to come up and take out the high, which highly unlikely, it might come back up because there's this imbalance right here. You can see this imbalance right here. It might come up here, hit this, and then continue downward. So we'll see. But for me, what I'm seeing right now is full time frame continuity is down. That just means that on the daily, weekly, monthly, the sellers are in control. That means doesn't mean to buy puts right away. It just means that is a more high probability direction that it is just gonna go. But we have to wait for the data and play it as is. But like I said, I am looking for a downward movement. I am looking for some kind of pullback tonight in futures, and then during London's session, and see what it does. And if it can't make it back up, then I am looking for this down. And, because if we break this, right, if we break it tomorrow, I'd be expecting Friday maybe a pullback, unless Friday's data is bad. And if we can't break above this, then we can bring it back down, and that's when I would probably potentially enter. Friday might be the day I potentially enter a short position to target the low of the monthly low. That's just my opinion. But tomorrow I am looking for a potential down day, and then probably some consolidation. I do think we're going to be in the range between 447 to about 444, 443, somewhere around there. That's just what I'm seeing based on the way the data is setting up. Let's draw other trend lines here. We do have this this rising wedge Going small time frame. This is the same thing that I had shown you the other night. Nothing new, nothing different, right? This is the same pattern that we have been having. So if you look at this, look, still in a downward trend, right? On the intraday, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. It looks like we broke it, but we didn't, right? I can draw out the lines for you all. So we are still downward trending. Still downward trending. However you want to draw it, right? You can see it. It's all there for you. It looks cluttered. We'll take it off a little bit later. But yes, I would be looking for tonight. We're still probably gonna use the 50% for the month, 50% for the day, and that's gonna be our top zone for tomorrow if there is a pullback. And then we're looking to take out the sell side liquidity, which is today's low, and then go into the gap. So that's where I'll let you know right now. In futures, if we do make a move, I would love for futures to come back up to today's high, 449 and some change. Because if it comes to that, or even the 8 and 9 EMA, I will just take a short, maybe like a 3 to 5 lot, maybe even 10 lot, I don't know, and ride that all until tomorrow's, 8 o'clock, just because I think we're going to downtrend. I don't know if CPI is going to be good or bad, but we will see. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. Like I said, I still think we're going to make a down day tomorrow. Let me just take all these other lines off so it's a little bit cleaner. Great. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at, folks. Like I said, I'm looking for a pullback, 34 EMA test at best, maybe the 50% for the monthly, and then fail and reject and come back down. I do think we test the gap. I think we're gonna potentially break out of this rising wedge, and then have a pullback on Friday, and then maybe Monday start the downtrend toward the monthly low. Let's quickly just look at QQQ to see what it's doing. So look at that QQQ already below, below the EMAs, the 34 EMA, right? It already made that downward trend. So it actually closed below the 50-day moving average. So, and it's 2 down day. Yeah, and what's not surprising, right? This is a hanging man, so we knew a hanging man usually means price goes down, up, down, right? So, yeah, QQQ is showing us that, we potentially have more of a down. Let's look at NQ. Oops, not MQ, NQ. Same thing, right? Closed below the clouds, below the 50-day. So not looking good. The Qs are leading right now. Let's check the weekly. Weekly is back below the 80 EMA. So again, it might pull back, retest that 80 EMA, and then if it fails it, then you're gonna see it start trading down to the 21. Let's check the month out real quick. A month, getting very, very close to making this 2 down month. So the fact that we are, what is that? Let's see. For NQ, about 83 points away, which is not a lot. That's 1 or 2 or 3 trading days. Yeah, to me, that just means that we will make more down. NQ and QQ are leading. That just means that they're going to draw SPY down along with ES. So I think we are going to continue down just because we're so close to making a down month on NQ along with triple Qs, very close. So yeah, I mean we are close. 363 and 364. I mean that's pretty much tomorrow or Friday. I mean, CPI data is bad. It could just that would be our catalyst. So, yeah, I'm looking for a down month, a down day tomorrow, or the rest of the week. I'm looking for a down. We'll probably consolidate for ES and SPY. like I said, we're going to consolidate a little bit, but we're going to continue down. It's going to take a little bit longer for SPY to come down to the month, but we're going to continue down, in my opinion. I think we're going to hit the gap. So again, I think in futures in about 5 minutes, I'd be liking to look and see if it pulls back, and then see what London session does, and then continue down into tomorrow, and then probably take off any trades before CPI happens, just because CPI can be very volatile. Look, I'll stay on for another couple minutes. If you have questions, type them out. But like I said, I will leave the live up, so you guys and girls can rewatch it. But I am looking for a down day tomorrow right now, based on just the way it's positioned, the positioning of the candles and the price action and the data. Just, to me, it looks like it wants to be a down day. Yeah, especially the way that the bears pushed down, bulls pushed it back up, and then bears just came back and stomped and pushed it right back down to pretty much open or not even low of day. So to me, it's going to be very powerful for a down day. So if you have questions, ask now. If not, then go ahead and enjoy your time. Again, thank you for those that, took time to like the tweet. And if I can ask for those that are on here, I think there's 20 something of you, please smash that like button on the YouTube video, and just take honestly like 30, 20, 40, 50 seconds, type something out if you found this video useful, right? Again, all it does is help get this video out to people like yourselves who found me through some stroke of luck, whether it was a hashtag, through somebody else, or you just saw it randomly. So again, doesn't do you any harm if you do that. All it does is help you and your fellow brethren that are looking for a helping hand as well. All right. Does gaps act as support? Hey, so I talked about this right in the beginning of the video. So gaps can do both, right? So that's why it's you either gain acceptance into it or you get rejection off of it, right? So it's really depending on how much resting orders are there, or liquidity, or imbalances, however you want to label it, right? It really depends on if they loaded the boat here. And you'll be able to see that if you have some kind of order flow tool. I don't. Just gonna have to wait and see when market opens, see the tape. But if you have like unusual wills, black box, quant data, whatever one of those like flow tools, you can see where people are positioning themselves and where they're at. But it really depends on how much orders are here on both sides. That's why sometimes this little small intraday gap, it just sliced through, right? It hit that, so it acts as a magnet. It acts as a magnet, and then when it gets to that spot, that's when we have to make a decision whether it's gonna continue through or reject and go the other direction. So that is what we have to look at. In top of the gap, we also have this imbalance, right? There's an imbalance right here. So not only that, we have this imbalance, right? So once we come down here, that's why I think the first break, I don't think it's going to slice through. I think the first, tomorrow and Friday, if we break through, we have the gap, then we have this, this is the fair value gap if you want to do ICT, right? Fair value gap, you might hit this and then continue back up somewhere in here and to this trend line or the 50%. And then if we can't pass it, then we come back down, because once we hit this fair value gap, we take it out unless they reload here and whatnot. So that's kind of what I'd be looking at. And then the fair value gap on this side is literally this gap right here, right? This gap plus right about here. And that there is no other imbalance, real strong imbalances here besides, we can say there's supply right here because of the wick and maybe here, but not exactly strong in my opinion. All right, cool. Anyway, guys and girls, thank you again for joining the live. Again, please hit that like button and leave a comment, and I will talk to you later.